Football. Ready, break.
Football in America is a special game. The men who play it make it so.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Have some fun.
This is the Gridiron Gumbo Show. High school, college, and pro football talk. Live from the studios of Today's Country 105.7. The Gridiron Gumbo Show is being brought to you by Mid-South Forestry Equipment and Gina Choctaw Pines Casino. Now, let's talk football.
And a good Tuesday evening to you, and welcome to episode 5 of the Gridiron Gumbo Show, our weekly football talk show. Sean Larken with you, Mike Holt, and Derrick Lee, all three of us back in here the last day of September, guys.
Wow.
It's almost October. We are halfway through the high school football season, which is crazy. We're like a quarter of the way or a third of the way through college, NFL already in week 5. Crazy that time is flying that fast. Also, it's a coach's favorite week.
Yeah.
It's fair week. There was a favorite week last week of homecoming at DeRitter. We'll have some more homecomings coming up next week, but it is fair week. Everybody loves fair week, right, Mike?
Right.
So, yeah, a lot of action we'll have this week on Thursday. There's pretty much about half of the schedule, or about a little bit under half of the schedule this week's going to be playing on Thursday night. We'll let you know those games. Again, we'll recap all of our games that we had. We had a good one on Today's Country 105.7 this past week in Pickering. Derrick, y'all had a good game as well with the Dragons giving Westlake their first loss of the season.
It was actually surprising, to be honest, considering how Westlake defense came into the game basically holding their team to 6 points in the last 3 games.
Pretty much, and they can score it too.
Very much so.
Pretty good performance all around. DeRitter's still not 100% healthy. You saw some guys play a little bit last Friday night, and we'll get into that. But if they can get some of those guys back and maybe get another win before they start district, they'll be in a pretty good shape. If getting back in the win column after a little mini 2-game slide was good to see. But yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that. We'll run through the area scores. Thursday night game last week, just won. Welsh all over South Bow 54-13. Lake Arthur beat Oakdale 26-0. Kinder moves to 4-0. They beat Eunice 22-20. Ascension Episcopal beats Rosepine 28-6. Pineville beats Leesville 28-21. Leesville, after we saw them last week, they drop a game to get to move to 1-3. And East Bow picks up their first win of the season. They win 36-25 over Oberlin. Like we said, the game you had, Derrick, 24-20. The Dragons beat the Rams to give Westlake their first loss of the season. And the game we had, Maryville defeats Pickering 30-28. The Panthers and Coach Barbe pick up their first win of the season, but a very competitive game, Mike. You were with me listening in. Good back and forth.
Absolutely. I don't think we were expecting it.
No, and look, we'll go ahead and get into, the drive summary and whatnot, but look, it started out, Pickering gets good field position. They had pretty much great field position all night. They started opening drive from the 50. The first play from scrimmage went for 7 yards, and then they went just penalties. So they're forced to punt. Blaze Brister blocks the punt, gets a hand on it. So Maryville takes over with decent field position. And on 3rd down and 9, they could convert, move the chains to keep the drive alive. And then they score the first touchdown. Austin Anderson on a little 4-yard run after he converted the 3rd down with a 9-yard catch. They also converted a 4th and 1 on the drive. But again, they go up 7-0 with 3:52 remaining in the opening quarter. Pickering's next drive, they start on their own 45, but they back up before they even get started with 12 men in the huddle. Penalties all over that drive, so they're forced to punt. Into the first quarter, it was Maryville 7-0, and then we really started to get after it and get the scoreboard going in the second quarter. Maryville's second drive, they hit Anderson again on a really nice touchdown pass. He was wide open. Extra point was good. So 14-0 with 10:06 to play in the second. Mike, we kind of, in between commercial breaks, we're talking about it, and we were like, oh, this isn't good because, Pickering had been so sloppy through a couple of drives, and Maryville had just taken advantage of it. But 2 minutes later, the game turned on its head. So on the next possession for Pickering, they start at their own 41. Keem Bennett, a nice play, was wide open, catch and run for a touchdown. They went for 2, didn't get it. So with 9:08 to play, it's 14-6. Maryville gets the ball back on the ensuing drive, and Caleb Falls gets a pick six. So 10:06 remaining in the half. Maryville's up 14-0. Exactly 2 minutes later, we've got us a tie game after the 2-point conversion by Pickering. Maryville answers. They go for it on 4th and 2 to extend the drive, a big 25-yard gain. That was the Cole Morani drive. He just took over. They pretty much, I think, gave him the ball every play but one on that drive. So he answers the Pickering score, gets Maryville back up front 22-14. But then Taylor Nasario for Pickering runs a nice little read option play, takes off for 37 yards and a touchdown. The 2-point try is good. So Pickering goes right back down the field and answers, and we go into the half 22-22 after, 9 minutes ago in this quarter, it was 14-0 Maryville, and it looked like they were just going to run away with this thing. But they go to the half, tied at 22, and we were thinking, well, it's probably going to be a 54-50 final, the last team to have it. They actually both teams only scored one touchdown in the entire second half, and Maryville's was on the opening drive. They go about 4 minutes and score. Brooks Lukens on a quarterback sneak. Cole Morani gets the 2-point try, which would be large in the outcome of this game. So with 8:26 left in the third, it's 30-22 Maryville. Pickering punts on their first drive, but then their defense really settles in. Again, down 8. They turn Maryville over on downs. They get the ball back, and they score the touchdown. Caleb Falls on 4th and 9. They actually get the touchdown about 14 yards out. He goes up, high points the ball. Took forever to give the signal. The referee never gave us a signal. They finally do. The 2-point try, however, they were lining up to go for 2 to tie the game at 30, and they had 12 men in the huddle. They got an illegal substitution penalty, so that backed them up. They had to try it again, and they were a yard short on the 2-point try, and that turned out to be the difference in the game. They got the ball back, however, twice. They turned Maryville over on downs again, got the ball. They went for it, again, trying to go for it on 4th and 9. They get Maryville to jump on 4th and 4. They go back because they false started. So we went back and forth on false starts and offsides there on that. So the 4th and 9 play falls incomplete. Maryville gets it back, and you're thinking, well, they're going to pretty much put this thing away. Pickering forces the fumble, and they had one more chance to have a drive to win the game, and they unfortunately turned it over on downs. The 4th and 8 pass was incomplete, and Maryville just kind of iced it from there. But man, what a competitive game! Like we said, 22-22 at half. We finished at 30-28 final, and the difference in the game was the penalty that backed up Pickering on the 2-point play.
And we kind of talked about it because we finished kind of late compared to everybody else.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we were moving right along in the first quarter, but when you start piling up the points like they did in the second quarter, what was it, 20? We had 44 points. We had 37 points total scored in the second quarter. So that's what really pushed us back.
Like it felt like we didn't hit halftime till like 8:30 or
something. I think I looked at that too, penalties and scores. But I looked at my watch after the first quarter, and it was, I think, 7:20. Yeah, I think 7:20 or 7:22. So we were rolling right along. Yeah. But look, when you start getting the scoreboard to light up there, I was okay with it. Yeah, man, what a competitive game. Maryville gets their first win of the season. Pickering falls in their third straight game after winning their season opener, but. Like I said it during the game, I was so impressed with the way each team kind of bounced back and responded. I mean, Maryville goes up 14-0. Nothing's gone right for Pickering. I mean, and I said it right before their touchdown drive. I said if they could just cut the penalties out and give themselves a chance, they're going to get back into this. And sure enough, they go down and they do just that. And then on the ensuing drive on defense, they get the pick six. I mean, that place, you could tell the momentum was clearly in their favor. They hung around in there, answered score for score. Maryville did the same. He thought maybe Pickering was going to take over and maybe really seize the lead and the game with all that momentum. Maryville goes right back down the field and answers.
And you said good crowd as well.
Oh, really good crowd. It was really, active, loud, really engaged crowd, especially, again, before, when it was 14-0, it kind of wasn't. But then those two quick scores, got everybody into the game. It was a lot of fun, man. Like I said, we appreciate Coach Doherty letting us come out there for that, and congratulations to Coach Barbet for his first win, and the Panthers' first win of the season as well, with him being in his first year there as head coach. But it was a lot of fun, man. I said it, man. That's the best game we've had so far this year as far as the back and forth and both teams having a chance to, win or hold. And a couple of big plays late. And the difference, like we say it all the time, in the moment, one play doesn't decide the game unless it's like the final play, but there are a lot of little things that go on in the game that you can look back to and be like, well, this made us do this. And, it's unfortunate that the 5-yard penalty to back up Pickering on their 2-point try to tie the game was the difference. I mean, for them, because they ended up a yard short. I mentioned it on the feed, or the broadcast whenever I was doing the game. If you remember the Titans-Rams Super Bowl when Kevin Dyson tried to reach over on the goal line, to win the game, and he was stopped at the 1. That's exactly what it looked like. They were that close, and it just didn't get it. So Maryville gets their first win of the season. Pickering drops their third straight. But, man, what a fun game. What a fun atmosphere. I said they could play 9 or 10 more times. I'd sign up for that if it was as good as that was. But, really good game by the Panthers. And like I said, both teams responded. They were, put in situations where they had to respond, and they did. So that was a lot of fun there. As for the game you had, Derrick, like DeRidder, I was getting some updates. Homecoming night, it's usually a lot of distractions. That's why coaches hate it. I mean, you can ask. I'm sure Coach Causey wasn't a big fan. I know our coaches weren't big fans. I remember asking Coach Brad Ducote at Rose Pine a couple years ago to name me 3 nice things to say about homecoming weekend. I think he named 1. So, it wasn't. He couldn't find that many.
It may have been all the girls look pretty dressed up.
Yeah, it was like that, and like somebody gets to be a queen, and then that's it, or there's a dance or something. But I don't think they like the dances. But look, DeRidder went in at half 14-7. They hang on 24-20, and I'll kind of let you take over with this one. But I was looking at the stats. Jaden Merriweather had a touchdown. I think Parmley had a sneak again. They've kind of been. I think that's his third one this year already, if I remember correctly. But they hang on. We said it. If they could just get healthy, that would help them a lot. I think Connor played maybe early in the game.
He played early first quarter, and he was mostly on punt.
Yeah, that early first quarter, and yes, 4 carries for 6 yards. I heard Javon looked really, really good.
Yeah, he did.
But didn't play in the second half. I would assume the groin probably tightened up in the locker room, maybe.
Probably. He didn't seem like he was limping. He just, I guess, Coach Parmley had Jaden Cooper. He carried most of the load, and the game was mainly just a game of who can make the most mistakes. Because Westlake had it. They definitely had that game until they had 2 costly mistakes. They had a fumble on the muff punt, and they didn't have no urgency in the late minute to get the ball downfield. They had like 75 yards, and they got 1 play off within 20 seconds.
Ooh, yeah, that's you're saying that. Jaden Cooper, 26 carries for 148, pretty much did carry the majority of the load for the Dragons. I mean, Javon had 11 for 72, and that was all, in the first half.
Yeah.
Like I said, Jaden Merriweather with the touchdown. John Lasso got a touchdown, and Parmley on the sneak.
But I do want to talk about how that if DeRidder, I know they played Jennings this week, and I know that neither of the ETN brothers are there, but I know that Jennings is still can run the ball really well. DeRidder have led up almost 200 yards and 8 touchdowns in the last 2 games, and both to quarterbacks.
Yeah, you said it. We were talking about this before we went on. And I've seen him for 3 years now. He's been starting to do his freshman. Quarterback Brody Anderson from Westlake. He busted off a couple of them the other night, and he had 7 for 133 and 3 touchdowns. So when you're carrying it 7 times and you score 3 of those 7 and you got over 100, you got to bust a couple of big ones.
It was like his first one was a 52, and then his second one was a 70-yarder.
Yeah, and I mean, he had more rushing yards than he did passing yards.
Yeah.
He had 101, and he had 133 on the ground. So, yeah, he's a special kid, a big kid, good-looking athlete. I mean,
like Josh Allen.
Yeah,
type
you compared him to Josh Allen. I mean, and when he gets going, he ran for over 600 yards last year. Mm-hmm. That's just something that's could be a concern. And last year, I want to say, I think the quarterback, I think it was Chris Ned, might have been the quarterback. one of the Neds, because there's brothers,
Yeah.
and one of them is a quarterback, I think.
Jennings just love having their brothers.
Yeah, I know. Like, they've got just pretty much. And I think one of them might have gotten loose on a quarterback play last year. I'll have to go back and look at my notes. But, yeah, I mean, and we'll talk about this probably in our next segment and the professional segment. Like, the threat of a
Quarterback run.
just the threat of it. You don't have to do it. It's just the threat of it can totally change the defensive game plan and make you dictate what you do. And he's good enough, as you saw, to just take it and go. And, DeRidder, again, holding this Westlake team to 20, that's pretty good. They were coming in averaging
32.7.
Yeah, almost 33 a game. As about this time last year, they did the same thing. It was closer to 40. It's a pretty good job defensively. And this was a team, as you saw last week, go to Newton and hang around for a half, and then it just kind of got away from them.
They just stalled out.
Yeah, and then the week before, they go and Manny shreds them on the ground. So could be getting better. We also Luis Rodriguez made his 3 extra points, made a field goal.
But he had one that came up just a little bit short.
Yeah, but we talk about how having a kicker like that can be a weapon.
Yeah.
And he makes a 33-yarder.
Yeah, he also he caught Westlake off guard with a little pooch kick, and it hit him. It hit the defender right in the head, and he didn't see it.
See, again, Mike, we talk about it. Having a kicker at this level, obviously
You don't think it would make a difference, but it does.
it does. Like if you've got an all-state running back or returner back there, well, you can just kick it over his head and they never touch it, and it's touchback every time. Instead of we've got to angle it to the sideline or kick it to this guy. Well, if you do that, you may kick it out of bounds 3 times, and then they get the ball at 40 or wherever, and you're stuck defending a short field. But yeah, the Dragons hang on. Again, like we said, Connor got to play the first half. Jaden Cooper was back. He was out the week before, missed Newton game, so he's back. Javon looked really good in his first half. I'm actually still watching the film of it, but they get those guys back, they'll be able to do a little bit more on offense, because it still seems like they're handcuffed about what they can do at the moment. So if it can look something like it did against South Bow going into district, that just gives you another element, because you don't have to turn around and hand it off and just keep the game slow and hope to bust a big one or sustain a 15-play drive. You got to hit the big plays every now and then.
Yeah.
That's how. It's just the game. There's too many variables in football for you to go on 15-play drives every time. Like, you can do it and it's awesome, but you got to hit a big play here and there, and that's at every level. You got to hit a big play, and it helps just kind of take the pressure off of you and maybe back the defense up a little bit as well. But yeah, DeRidder snaps their little 2-game streak and gives Westlake their first loss. They came in 3-0, so that's a really good win there, as Westlake's going to probably pile up some good wins. They're in that tough district, though, so they're going to have some good games, but that should help DeRidder as far as the power ratings, getting those wins. And if they can keep stacking them, it just does, it helps as far as getting you, maybe a home game instead of traveling on the road in the first round, because it's what it's all about, is getting yourself in position for a good playoff seed. So with that, like we said, we've got a few games on Thursday. There's one team, Oberlin's on a bye this week, but South Bow is on Thursday. They will host Port Barry. South Bow 1-3, trying to get right. They've had a couple. I think they've got some injuries too. I mean, they did the same thing last year.
I want to say Port Barry is the Red Devils.
They are devils or demons or something. Yeah, I think you're right. It may not be. We'll have to look that up though.
Yeah, we will.
But yeah, there is some sort of like goblin or ghoul or something. That's what they are. Yeah, demon, devil. You're right.
Yeah.
And I pass through there every Saturday morning driving back to Baton Rouge. I go that way, so I need to look at their sign.
That's a little trip for them.
It is. And what's crazy is I think Kinder's in that district.
Mm-hmm.
So that. When you're doing that and going to like Oakdale and Menard, that's still like a really far trip, for a district matchup. But South Bow will get them out of district. They'll have them Thursday at home. As we said, DeRidder travels to Jennings. This is always a tough game. Most of the time it's low scoring. It wasn't last year. Jennings came to DeRidder and got the win last year. So they'll go to Jennings on Thursday. You'll be able to hear that one with Derrick and Mr. Isles on KROK.
The station that believes in dragons.
And I believe when I checked in with y'all the other night, I heard that going to a break.
Every time he says, I started dying. I started laughing because I can't.
I laughed too. I got back on. I said, Mike, he said it. He said it going to break.
When he retires, we gotta give him. We gotta give him.
We got to get that.
We also need to get him in the studio.
Oh yeah.
To play that sound bite so you can hit it going to break every time.
What do they call that? We got to get that not monetized, but when you try to get a
patent?
A patent, yeah.
Well, we do.
We got to patent that.
You imagine if you had $1 for every time you did that.
Yeah.
It would be. You would probably have a lot of dollars. But so they'll be at Jennings again Thursday night. Y'all probably go. What y'all going there about 5 or 10 minutes before kickoff?
Yeah, about.
And you'll be able to hear that one, like I said, on 95.7. As for us, we're also on a Thursday night this week. We'll be back in Leesville. They'll be playing Benton. Benton is 0-4. The Tigers' last game was also on Thursday this past week. They lost to Captain Shreve 59-48.
I know assistant principal Logan Maddox took good care of you. Is he going to take care of you again this week?
I hope so.
Okay.
If he doesn't, I hope that light's fixed because I did put I put a request in for that when I was leaving the other day.
He was like, let me add that to the list of everything else.
Yeah, I need food. I need lights. And I'll need assistant principal. I almost called him coach again. I'll need assistant principal.
Yeah, he's
Logan
a big
Maddox.
shot. He's a big shot.
Yeah, like he's over. He's done with coaching. He says, "I've done that." Now he's in a leadership role. So I just needed to have some lights on for me in there because it got dark pretty quick. Now the time's gonna be changing soon, so it's even darker. But we'll be on Thursday night. We'll go on air about 6:45. And again, you hear that one right here on today's Country 105.7. And that's the Thursday night games. Friday night, again, still pretty full slate, but with Fair Week, a few teams do play on Thursday. Kinder's at home for Friday night. They're 4-0. Logansport's coming in. Speaking of a trip, Logansport, Kinder, that is far because I made that trip twice. And
there's no quick way to get there.
There is not. No, so hopefully safe travels for the Tigers coming in. But, man, that's a tough trip. And then you got to play Kinder. You're not. There's no guarantee that one's not going to be easy. Oakdale goes to Marksville. East Bow has to go to Lafayette, playing Westminster Christian. So speaking of drives, Maryville goes to Northwood Lena, which is again not a
easy
a
drive,
skip and a jump. And Pickering's at LaSalle, so again a decent little trip there. And Rose Pine travels to Lake Arthur. So that is the full slate. Again, 3 games on Thursday and the rest of the way on Friday. And like I said, you can hear both of our games on Thursday night. We'll be at Leesville. Derek and Mr. Isles will be at Jennings. So we'll take a quick break, come back, and we will try to break down LSU's disappointing loss, first loss of the season, suffered on Saturday in Oxford. You're listening to the Gridiron Gumbo Show on today's Country 105.7.
A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability and versatility built in, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors, rated #1 in durability and owner experience. Z-Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Visit your local Kubota dealer for a demo today.
Visit Mid-South Forestry Equipment in Manny or call 318-256-5686 for more details.
Gina Choctaw Pines Casino, your place for fun.
Looking for some excitement? Come push our buttons and get paid.
Gina Choctaw Pines Casino, your place for fun.
Must be 21.
Welcome back here to the Gridiron Gumbo Show, our weekly football show. We've done high school, and now we are to college football. And unfortunately, LSU suffers their first loss of the season. Sean Larken with you, Mike Holt, Derrick Lee. Guys, we talked about it last week previewing the game. We've talked about it all year. If LSU was going to lose a game, we kind of knew how it would go. They wouldn't be able to run the ball. They got to throw the ball down the field. We didn't, last time LSU was in Oxford, they gave up 700 yards. We said they weren't going to do that. They didn't. They didn't play great, but we'll get into that. But everything that we assumed would happen to cause LSU to lose a game happened on Saturday. And unfortunately, it's the first loss of the season for the Tigers. 24-19. Look, plenty of chances, plenty of opportunities. You got off to a fast start. But, man, it's so disappointing. Not that we lost, I guess. It's just how we lost because it's so predictable, and it's been this way even in the wins. The craziest part is the best you've ran the football this year is against Clemson at week 1. Like, we talked about it then. They didn't run it great, but they ran it enough and kept drives alive running the ball. This game Saturday, 2 for 11 on third down, 256 total yards, 59 yards rushing, 2.8 yards a carry.
Not good.
No. Look, against Florida, this same thing happened. You couldn't sustain a drive. I think they said on the broadcast at halftime, Ole Miss had ran 53 plays in the first half. And they were only up 17-7 at halftime. And that last 7 came at the end of the half, when they scored right before the half. But you go through the first drives of the game, like the first 5 drives, they had 3 points. That's where LSU's got to go bury them right there. Yeah. You go 3 and out, they go 3 and out, they go 3 and out again. Then you score your touchdown, and look, it was. We'll get into the quarterback situation, but it was on a ball that wasn't thrown correctly, and you just so happen to have Nick Anderson in the right place. he made a heck of a play. But after that, Ole Miss gets a field goal, and you're going back in, and Nuss throws the interception. That can't happen right there. Like, this has happened too many times with the decision making, and we'll get into the injury, not injury part, the inability to throw the ball down the field. But I think dating back to last year, you go back to the A&M game last year in that third quarter, he makes a throw that just doesn't need to be made, and that flips the entire game. Well, you're going to get points in this one, to go back up a touchdown at least because you're in field goal range. And he throws the interception when he had guys running underneath, which we know the ball can get thrown underneath because that's all LSU's done.
Yeah.
That can't happen there. It's just leaving points on the board. It happened against Florida a couple weeks ago, leaving 3 points on the board by just forcing the ball. A couple of passes, just there's no zip on the football. It got Aaron Anderson killed on one play, pretty much. This has been going on. And what's crazy is last week against Southeastern, on this show, I said that was his best game because he made a throw in the game across his body, rolling to the left, drove one into the end zone. And man, he's not able to make that throw if he's, if something bad's going on. But then they also run him up on a quarterback sneak in the South Carolina or Southeastern game. But man, just ineffective Saturday, and Ole Miss knew it. Yeah. They dropped 8 in coverage all the entire game. They didn't have to send guys, and they got home with 3. And a lot of people are saying, well, you're not supposed to get home on a 3-man rush, and you're not supposed. I understand that, but then you factor in that one of your linemen, a true freshman who played really well, gets the notification that he's going to start 15 minutes before the game, pretty much, and then you have another go down. So communication is not going to be great, and you're on the road. But look, the thing that has not happened for LSU in the last 4 seasons, this ain't just a one-time deal, right? LSU can't run the ball. No. And you're not going to win in this conference and really any level.
If you can't run the ball.
If you can't run the ball. And I'm not asking you to get 300 yards a game and look like Army running the triple option. But you have to at least give the threat of the run and stick to it. Like, even if it's not working, you have to run it.
Yeah. And these teams know you can't run, so...
Yeah, so we're going to drop 8 in coverage, and we're not going to load the box, and we're not going to creep the safeties up so you can throw the ball downfield if you're physically capable. But against Ole Miss...
Makes you one-dimensional.
Against Ole Miss this year, Georgia State ran for 191. Mm-hmm. Kentucky, who did whatever they wanted, lost the game, but on offense, they ran for 172. Arkansas, who we'll talk about a little bit later in the show, they ran for 221. They lost the game. They fumbled going in for the win. They scored 35. Tulane, they got hammered last game. They ran for 178. Here's the outlier. LSU ran for 59. Quarterbacks in that game. Georgia State, 40. Kentucky, 23. Arkansas, 115. Tulane, 61. LSU, -7. So you see the trend here.
Yeah.
You gave up 24 points on offense. Or on defense, I'm sorry. To that team, in that situation, because last time you were there, you gave up half 100 and 700 yards. You're at this level and the way the game's played now, you should win every single game if your defense lost 24 points. You scored 19. they ran the ball and it's not just the inability to run the ball, it's the inability to like consistently try to run the ball. In the first half, LSU ran the ball 2 times with running backs, like the position running back, twice. One of those was on 3rd and 20 right before the end of the half.
Yeah.
And that was actually the longest gain of the day of the game at that moment. It was 11 yards. Another thing, you get later into the game, Harlem Berry has 2 great carries. Boom, boom, back-to-back. Scores on the second one. Where's he at on the 2-point conversion? He's doing the same thing I was doing, watching it going, what the hell did they just run?
Yeah.
Because whatever that was the worst 2-point play I've ever seen. But guess what? The guy who just scored and just made, caused issues for Ole Miss wasn't in there. Like, get that guy on the field. Get a running back on the field. No disrespect to Juwan Johnson, but he's played 7 positions since he's been to LSU. He did well last week. He's done well when called upon. But you've got the number 1 running back in the country. He's good at running the ball. Yeah. Run it. Or at least keep him on the field so, hey, we could maybe fake it to him because he's just burned us twice. So, it's not just that they can't run the ball. We said it last year. They were second to last or last in the conference in rushing attempts, and the second closest to them was Auburn, and Auburn played 1 less game. So, you don't even try to run the ball, and now you go into the fact, look, it's obvious. I don't care what Brian Kelly tells us, even though he did tell us that Nussmeier was hurt last week.
You think they're trying not to run the ball because they know they can't?
Yeah, but they can't throw.
No.
That's the thing. I mean, I don't care. Brian Kelly tells us last week that Garrett Nussmeier's got a torso injury. Yeah. Okay? After the game the other night, they asked Garrett Nussmeier, are you feeling okay? I'm not going to comment on my health. Well, you know what that tells me?
Yeah.
Because if you're okay, you say, I'm fine.
I'm fine. He didn't say that.
If you want to lie about it,
you're not gonna comment.
You say, I'm okay.
Yeah.
You don't say no comment.
Yeah.
But you can watch.
After the coach has already told us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's either 2 people lying or someone's lying.
Yeah.
And the other person's not. Or everybody just wants to sabotage this entire potential of a championship. Because that's what's happened with the loss on Saturday. And look, it's just 1 game, I know. Yeah. But we talk about it.
Your margin for error.
Yeah, your margin of error when you lose 1 game that you're not supposed to, because I thought LSU would come out and play well. And they did for a little bit.
And we kind of thought they might lose the first game.
Yeah. But they didn't. So, we can reevaluate our expectations, right? They lose to Clemson, then it's doomy and gloomy. Like, we're not making the playoff because you still got a full schedule.
Yeah.
You beat Clemson. You beat Florida. You've got this defense going. Defense travels, as they do. You're feeling pretty good about yourself. Like we said here last week, you should probably be able to go to Oxford and win. Yeah. And you had a chance. Pete, you had several opportunities to just seize that game. I mean, one of the biggest unfortunate breaks is the pick 6 from DJ Pickett that gets called back on pass interference. You can argue that's not because it's a bad throw. Yeah. He's got a right to the football. But then they get 3 more on that drive, and that actually was their first score, was 50 yards of penalties. Thank God for A.J. Halsey poking the ball out, or they're going in for another one. They give you chances. And then one of the best individual plays was late in the game. You got a chance again. P.J. Woodland makes an unbelievable interception. Knocks the ball away, falling down, catches it. The only thing that he didn't do, which makes you, deflate you, is not score. Because, he don't score. Guess who's not either? LSU's offense. Because I don't think they moved the ball in that drive. Yeah. It's just the inability to throw the ball down the field.
It's frustrating.
If it's because your quarterback is hurt, he does not need to play.
No.
Because it is a detriment to the team. And you owe it to everyone else on that team to sit him and get someone capable in there. Because he can't run. He doesn't run the ball. And if it's because he's hurt, there again.
Well, and that's why we talked about why was he playing against Southeastern.
Yeah, but when we came back from the week and did the show, he looked pretty good.
Yeah, he did.
And that makes you think, well, maybe he wasn't. But then this was the most telling one, and a lot of his throws have fluttered, and there's no zip on it this year. Some of that is because of mechanics, and that's been my one knock on him since he's been at LSU was he does get a little feet happy and he throws off his back foot a lot. But last year he threw off his back foot a lot, and the ball still zipped through. I mean, he threw that touchdown on 4th and 5 to Aaron Anderson against Ole Miss last year, and it was a rope. Like, he's throwing the ball deep to Chris Hilton against Oklahoma 3 times. Ropes, every one of them. But the telling one to me on Saturday was the throw to Chris Hilton on the sideline late in the game. That got called. And, again, I don't like this rule. It sucks, but it is what it is. When you bail out a receiver and a quarterback on pass interference because you underthrow the football. And your receiver has to work back to it, and the corner doesn't know that the throw's bad. So he's freaking out, throwing his hands up, and he gets called for PI. Understand it. But the pass interference on Chris Hilton, if you go back and watch that throw and watch where Chris Hilton is when they pan the camera, he's got the corner beat by 5 yards. Garrett Nussmeier underthrows that ball by 10 yards. And that right there, and if you go back, and I rewound it 5 times, I just wanted to make sure what I saw was what I saw. He puts everything he has into that throw. And it is just...
Not much.
I saw somebody say it, and I couldn't agree more. You know, people bashed him for the last 3 years of his career. They said Drew Brees at 42 years old makes that throw 100 out of 100 times. So if Garrett Nussmeier is hurt, he can't play.
No.
He shouldn't be
because what you got coming down the road is way worse than what you just saw at Oxford.
You almost certainly need to win every game here on out.
You've got one more loss because you ain't getting in with 3. We saw it last year.
Yeah.
There were 4 teams out of the SEC that made arguments to have a playoff spot with 3 losses. And with what the Big Ten does with their stupid schedule, and they all suck except maybe Ohio State and Oregon, they're going to get Penn State's getting in. I'm just letting y'all know.
They're not winning nothing.
But they're not winning, but they're getting in.
They're
going
get
to
in,
get
yeah.
in. They dropped to 7th after whatever they did the other night. But that's what now you've got to go to Bama, and somehow you've got to go win there.
Yeah.
And you've won there one time. And since you've won there in 19 and you won there in 11.
It's been a while.
Wow.
Again, you also have Vandy on the schedule. A&M's there.
There's no cupcake anymore.
No, you've got Western Kentucky, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
if the one thing that cannot happen is they cannot drop that game just because of not being able to run the ball.
Yeah, like you're to the point now where you have to you got to keep
the ball.
Like running. You've got to keep trying to
Got to keep doing it.
And like I said, I'm not saying Michael Van Buren wins that game, but he threw for 280 yards against them last year, and, you know, he could have played 4 quarters against Southeastern and gave you another week. But if this injury is that serious, and like I said, we don't know because we've been told that he is, and then we've been told that he isn't.
But Garrett's answer makes you suspicious.
Exactly. And then our head coach has told us that he is. And if that's the case, then we're like deliberately sabotaging a championship caliber team.
And this is a lot of money that he is NIL.
Yeah,
a lot of money.
And that's what we talked about. You know, in this day, you've invested in these guys, so is it we have to play them because there's so much money involved? Yeah, maybe, but like,
is it real?
What about the other guys you've invested on defense?
What about not even that? What about him next year? He's supposed to be going to the draft next year.
Yeah. Well, you would think with him though, if he is truly not healthy,
they will sit him.
He would be like, guys, I'm not healthy because guess what's happening to his?
It's hurting his stock. His
draft stock.
Yeah.
He ain't.
He's not doing him no justice right now.
No,
he ain't a top 5 pick right now.
No, he's not a top 3 round pick right now.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing that I've seen
that tells him that he should be a top.
That says, let me take this guy early. Like somebody.
But there's not many quarterbacks in the.
There's not. No, they've all tanked. I mean, Arch is bad. Kate Klubnik's bad. Nuss is bad. Those are your 3. John Mateer's arm's broken. Like
Saints ain't taking a quarterback.
Well. Somebody goes, the Saints are drafting. I said, no, they've got a quarterback on their roster who's better than him.
Yeah.
Like that's where we're at right now, and I feel bad because you got to at least give props to Nuss for staying loyal. But man, like this is everybody knew that this was how LSU would lose that game. If they were to lose a game, it would be like this. But then when you don't have the ability to throw the ball down the field, teams aren't just going. They're not just going to sit back and
they finna peel their ears back and just come at you.
But they're going to play 8 over. They're going to drop 8, play 4 over the top, and go. Yeah, we'll let you throw 15 passes underneath, and maybe you bust one. But
they'll just go right to the ball.
Yeah, they'll just get there and make. And what's bad is Ole Miss didn't play very well. They had like 15 penalties. You know, they turned it over a couple times. And look, Trinidad Chambliss, he's probably starting the rest of the year for Ole Miss. Like Austin Simmons ain't going to play. They gave him, speaking of NIL, they gave him a lot of money. But this guy that's in there now is winning you games.
Yeah.
And Lane Kiffin ain't an idiot.
No, he's not.
Because
probably one of the top offensive minds there is.
he is. And he's going to win. He's going. I mean, you know what? Like, why Quinshon Judkins wasn't there last year? Because he went in and said he wanted to play more. And Lane's like, well, we're going to play everybody. And he was like, okay, I'm out. And yeah, he won a national championship at Ohio State. But, like, they're going to play who they think is good.
Yeah.
And if this guy's getting you wins, hello, I'm playing the guy who gives me a better chance to win. LSU should do the same because it's not going to get any easier. They have a bye.
And that's why I asked you before we came back, was this a good time for the bye?
It is. It could come at no better time.
Give him time to rest.
Then you come back. You got South Carolina at
Maybe
home.
Caden Durham's ready to go.
Yeah, Caden Durham. Trades, maybe he's a little bit better. But, yeah, man, like, defense didn't play well either. Like, let's not just pin this all on quarterback and the lack of running game and offensive line. Defense, they weren't great. They weren't perfect.
But they did.
But they're not supposed to be.
Right.
That's a Lane Kiffin team who gave up 24. The big blows were on third down. I mean, 8 for 16 on third down for Ole Miss. Like, that's 50%, man. A lot of those. A lot of 3rd and 11, 3rd and 8.
Oh, so it was like 3rd and
9s,
mediums.
3rd and long, yeah.
I can understand if it was like 3rd and shorts, but
yeah, no, there were
heartbreaking.
several times where it was a 3rd and long and they just couldn't get off the field. But you give up 24. You give up 24 to Lane Kiffin's team there. Well, no,
you should
got
win.
a chance
You
to
should win.
win.
You should win that game.
Yeah, and if you have anything on offense, you win that game probably by double digits. Yeah. There it is. You can show him.
I see that. Oh, I actually see that.
That's from that. And again, bad for radio, but if you've never seen the Bobby Petrino, actually, you could just Google Bobby Petrino, and that's
probably what the first picture that comes up.
Now, after that, he went to the Falcons, right?
He's Falcons head coach. Yeah. But again, Sam Pittman, great offensive line coach. I would make
for
that
Georgia,
phone call.
wasn't it? Yeah.
I'd make that phone call right now.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think our offensive line coach is very good.
I don't think anything on our offense is very good right now. That's the unfortunate part.
Offensive line.
The LSU is on a bye. Alabama's not dead, guys.
Nope.
They beat Georgia 24-21.
Bama is not burning.
Georgia, just some boneheaded decisions late in that game.
Like that 4th and 1.
Kirby Smart, what do you expect?
Yeah, Kirby's got a monkey on his back, and he got over it once.
Yeah.
And you thought maybe the dam would break, kind of like us. They did. It got him to. They had to beat him twice. They had to beat him and then beat him in a national championship, and he did that. And you think maybe the floodgates are going to open, but man, they don't win. They didn't win last year after being up big. They got down early in this one, had all the momentum, and I get that's why you go for that 4th and 1. But there's still so much time in that game. You could tie it, and you still got the momentum. Instead, you basically deflate the whole building.
Oh, please don't bring up a tie.
But we will take one more break, come back. Saints are 0-4, but I don't feel good about it, but I felt good about it.
It's less pain.
Exactly. Yeah. It's way better than last week. We'll talk a little bit about it more. You're listening to the Gridiron Gumbo Show on today's Country 105.7.
A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability and versatility built in, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors, rated #1 in durability and owner experience. Z Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Visit your local Kubota dealer for a demo today.
Visit Mid-South Forestry Equipment in Manny or call 318-256-5686 for more details.
Gina Choctaw Pines Casino, your place for fun.
Looking for some excitement? Come push our buttons and get paid.
Gina Choctaw Pines Casino, your place for fun.
Must be 21.
Back here on the Gridiron Gumbo Show, shout out to our sponsors, Mike.
Mid-South Forestry Equipment and Gina Choctaw Pines Casino.
That's right. I didn't write it on my sheet this time. I don't know why I didn't. The last day of September, by the way, October is here. I cannot believe it.
But it don't feel like it outside. Carl.
No. Weekend, we got a taste, though, this weekend.
Yeah,
it wasn't ungodly hot. Like, I didn't just walk outside and start sweating.
I just don't like that it gets dark now at 7?
Just wait till a couple more weeks, and it's going to be even worse. Saints dropped to 0-4. We told you last week, if you were worried about the thrashing they got in Seattle, don't get your hopes on them winning this week, because it wasn't going to happen. It's the biggest spread points-wise this season you're going to see. But, man, for 55 minutes,
They played hard.
they looked like they belonged on the field.
Yeah.
And like I said, they're 0-4. Yeah, they lost. This is a results-based business. Wins, losses, right? It's not about moral victories. Nobody's going to be pumped. Nobody's popping champagne for them only losing by 11 or whatever it was. The 31-19, 12. So, but, man, given what we saw last week and what we saw this week,
This was much better.
if this team, this performance Sunday in Buffalo, you bottled that up and played it last week, I don't know if, you might win last week, but you definitely win the first two.
Y'all definitely beat the Cardinals.
Yeah, but they defended Josh Allen better than they defended Mac Jones.
I mean, this is the
That says
Bills.
a lot.
I mean, yeah.
And we've seen Bills can light it up.
Yeah.
They've lit it up every week. And they still ended up with 31, but
that's
that was a hard 31.
That's a hard 31 to get.
They didn't play well. And Josh Allen's the reigning MVP of the league. Yeah, he had his moments where he, you could just kind of turn it on, that's what all the greats do.
Yeah.
At one time he did the pump fake, ran it in. At one time he was in the open field, broke Pete Warner's ankles. But he threw his first interception of the season. It wasn't a great throw. Yeah, first turnover all year.
That shout out to him because considering what he was before, he was just a turnover machine.
I have said this because I can say this. One of my best friends, diehard Buffalo Bills fan, his brother-in-law was Kyle Williams, who played for him for forever. So I was with him when they made it to the playoffs after, they had to watch the Bengals beat the Ravens to get in. Tears in his eyes, him and his brother. But when Josh Allen came into the league, like you said, he threw the ball all over the place. And I've said it on this show. I've said it just in conversation. You can't go to the NFL and make someone accurate. You're either accurate
or you're not.
And you're going to get better at processing the information, processing defenses. You don't teach accuracy in the NFL. Except for him. He's the lone exception to guys getting better at throwing the football
over time
in the NFL than they are. Because he was about a 52-53% completion guy in college, I think. My numbers may be off, but he was below 65.
He was below average.
Yeah. And his first year in the league, first couple of years, you could see him. He would
just chunk
He would drive one in there, and you'd be like, oh, my God. And then he would throw one into the bleachers. And then it just flipped on, and he's become what he is now, which is a monster. He is a physical freak. He's Cam Newton, and he's a better thrower, but he's the same size. When I tell you he is a giant.
It doesn't make sense.
No, it's not supposed to, because, those guys aren't supposed to do that.
It's funny, and I don't even recognize Cam Newton anymore, seeing him on First Take.
Yeah, that he's in these outrageous costumes and stuff.
But he's always been like that.
Yeah, he has, and he always does the type font and on Instagram. Weird.
That always kills me.
Yeah, because I can't even read that. That But you did that to Josh Allen yesterday, and look, there were times where you could have the first drive, the Shakir touchdown, poor tackling, awful. Jonas Sanker missed a tackle. Then he turns around, the rookie has a really good drive where he has the pass break up and then the interception. That's a guy that finally, and we've talked about this, Derrick, you're like, well, what do the Saints need, are they a player away? And I said, no, they're probably 4 or 5, right? From getting some, building a foundation, kind of like Alvin Kamara, Trey Hendrickson, that 17 draft, Marshawn Lattimore, getting 4 or 5 of those. Jonas Sanker in preseason had some signs, and then yesterday you're like, okay, you know what? That's a guy that might make an impact, and you can build around. That's the things they need. Look, they still aren't any caliber with Buffalo. They're not. The top teams in the league, they're not. But when they give that kind of effort, they'll win games. And the schedule now is about to lighten up, and they're going to win.
And the penalties were definitely cut as well.
They were great yesterday. Yeah. Buffalo, they threw flags on Buffalo all day.
Yeah.
And look, Spencer Rattler, man, he's 0-10 now as a starter.
Yeah, you feel for him.
I don't care about wins and losses. A quarterback's wins and losses are the most ridiculous stat ever, right?
It depends, though.
It does, but we base guys' greatness and stuff on like individual awards with wins.
Yeah.
How many times has Drew Brees had the lead in the playoffs and his defense just completely collapses?
Yeah.
Every time.
How many times
we've
Drew Brees
lost
had
a
the
playoff
worst
game.
defense in the league?
Yeah, like that's why wins and losses as a quarterback stat are ridiculous. It's almost like pitching. You can go in there and throw 9 innings, give up no runs. Well, if your team don't score, you're leaving that game without a win. You're no decision. Or you could lose a game 1-0, or 2-1, 3-2. But man, Kellen Moore said it after the game. Like, you know, Spencer Rattler deserves to win. He deserves a win because he's playing winning football right now. Like, yeah, he's not doing anything spectacular, but he's also not doing anything just boneheaded. Like, he's not just throwing the ball to the other team.
He's very conservative.
Chris Olave threw an interception on Sunday. Like, it's kind of weird. Yeah. But, like, he did. Yeah. You know, and Spencer Rattler's protecting the football. Like, they're not throwing it downfield much, but, I mean, other than Rashid Shaheed, like, we ain't really going to get it down the field.
I definitely wouldn't be making a change.
No, not yet, because I don't think he's warranted. At some point, you do have to go to
you will at some point.
To have to.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's this Sunday.
Next week.
I don't think it's this Sunday, right? I actually don't think it's next Sunday, because when we look at the schedule, you got the Giants coming in this Sunday. They got their first win. You're going to be playing a rookie quarterback in Jackson Dart. But that's a winnable game. Miami's not good. They're on the schedule in a few weeks. The Patriots are on the schedule in a couple of weeks.
Patriots may be a tricky game, but y'all can definitely beat the Dolphins.
Yeah, but as we've seen in this league, it's any given Sunday, and I hate that's a cliche phrase, but like it's true.
It's true.
Because who did we talk about the first 2 weeks on this show that was just looked like they were that much better than everybody else?
The Packers.
Yeah. And they've lost to the Browns.
And they tied with the Cowboys. Without CeeDee Lamb.
Without CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens looked like Terrell Owens in his prime and Jerry Rice mixed in.
By the way, I hate ties.
Picks-wise, last week, man, there was a whole lot of mid. Mike, actually, yours was not mid. Yours was really bad. I was 8-8. Derrick, you were 7-9. Mike, you were 6-10.
Oh. I
went 5-4 in college. Y'all both went.
You're not calling me.
No, I'm not. I'm not calling you. Mike, you were 4-5. Derrick, you were 4-5 in college. I was 5-4. Me and you, Derrick, were 3-4 in the NFL. Mike, you were 2-5 on the season. Derrick, you're still out in front, 24-19. You weren't with us on that first week, but still a pretty good record. Mike, you are 27-29. I'm 26-30, but I'm about to make my move. I can promise you that. Some notables in last week's, like we said, underdogs in college 5-4. Illinois, Oregon, and Alabama, all underdogs, won outright. And Mississippi State, who was an underdog as well, lost in overtime. They were in that game the whole way. In the NFL, 4-3 against the spread. Chiefs, Steelers won straight up as underdogs. Dallas tied, as I have out here in my notes. By the way, if you're the clock operator in Dallas, you got to wind that second off, right?
Yeah.
Like, how did the Packers run a play? 2, how do you let that second stay on to let them kick? You got to wind that thing off and make them review it, because who knows? They may be like, oh, play's over, game's over, Dallas wins. And the Saints, again, that line was so big, you have to take that in betting. Like, when a team is even a 9-point favorite in the NFL, you almost take the underdog. It's almost like a 60% hit. 16.5, 15.5 at close. I mean, they lose by 12. So, again, the Saints do cover, but they lose. So, all right, this is the funnest game we're going to pick all week when we start in college. The Clemson Tigers.
Okay.
At Bill Belichick in Chapel Hill, UNC. North Carolina is a 13.5-point underdog. I'm taking UNC. Because
I'm taking UNC.
Ain't beat nobody by 14.
Yeah.
I got UNC.
We're all on
We're
Belichick.
on Belichick.
And if it gets out of hand, his girlfriend's going to just come down and maybe beat Dabo up. So, who knows?
He'll be all right.
He'll be all right. Longhorns go to Florida.
Oh.
The Gators are a 7.5-point underdog. I'm taking Florida in the points, and I'm just going to tell y'all guys, I'm taking Florida to win the game.
I don't believe in Arch.
I'm taking the Gators.
I got Gators.
So we are all on the same page here. Funnest game of the weekend, the Vanderbilt Commodores, the number 16th ranked Vanderbilt Commodores, head to Tuscaloosa the number 10 ranked Crimson Tide. We have a ranked on ranked Vanderbilt Alabama game. What kind of timeline is this?
Oh.
Alabama is a 10.5 point favorite in this game. As we remember last year, the Commodores defeated Alabama.
And they're going to do it again.
They're going to do it again.
I got Vandy.
Guys, y'all are both on the Vandy train to cover. So what I'm going to do, even though I don't want to do this, I'm going to take Alabama to cover because I got to catch y'all somehow. Another fun one. Miami, the third-ranked team in the country now. I don't think they are, but who knows who is.
At this point.
Against Florida State. They go to Tallahassee. I don't know if y'all saw the Florida State game Friday night.
It was
Did y'all see
the overtime?
They stormed the field? Has anybody checked on Squirrel White? Because
that's all
he disappeared. He disappeared as the fastest storming of a field. Did you see it, Mike?
Yeah.
I don't know where he went.
I think he just got up and left.
I don't know. He might have disappeared because they were on him quick, man. Like
he just sat there.
Yeah, I get it. It was a game in play, but the Noles lose at Virginia, who's not bad. But they gotta now regroup and get a Canes team. This game wasn't as juicy when the season started, but now it should be fun. Florida State is a 4.5 point underdog in this one. I'm taking the Noles because I think they bounce back.
I'm taking the Noles.
I got Florida State.
All right, but I do believe Miami's defense is going to give them problems. They're really good. Yeah, that's going to be a fun game. One more in college. Mississippi State, one of the funnest teams of the year. They go to College Station, and they are getting 14.5 points. Does A&M win by 15, or do the Dogs cover?
I think the Dogs cover.
I got A&M.
I have been on Mississippi State quite a bit this year. I'm going to take them. Auburn I had last week at College Station. They hung in there and did it for me. So I will take the Dogs. We'll go to the NFL. Not great matchups, but a few good ones. Back in the NFC West on Thursday night, the Niners at the Rams. Rams are a 3.5 point favorite. I'm taking the Rams.
I'm taking the Niners.
That's easy.
Everybody's on the Rams?
Yeah.
Niners.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
I got to pencil you in here, Mike. Bucks and Seahawks. Bucks lose for the first time against Philly on Sunday. Seattle, they continue to play well. They are a 2.5 point favorite against Tampa.
I got Bucks.
Seahawks.
Seahawks. Derrick has been good in his NFL picks. He's taking the Bucks. I'll take Seattle to win this one, but it'll be a good one. Commanders, I think Jaden's going to play. They go to the Chargers. Chargers are a 2.5 point favorite in this game. They lost against the Giants last week, but like we said, it's a week-to-week league.
I like the Chargers.
Chargers going to bounce back.
You know what? I'm going to take the Commanders just to be different.
Yes, if Jaden plays that
changes the whole dynamic.
Well, yeah, but Chargers still going to find a way to win that game because the Commanders' defense is...
Yeah, they ain't look good first couple of weeks.
No.
They have not. Chiefs at Jags is the Monday night game. That's going to be fun. Like we said, don't know why the Jags are 3-1. They are. I guess because their coach is ready to fight.
Even though he may get his world rocked.
Yeah. I mean, look, I would like to see him fight Andy Reid. That would be fun. The Chiefs are a 2.5 point favorite in this game against Jacksonville.
I'm going to go with Jacksonville.
I'm going Jacksonville.
This is a sneaky line. I think so, too. And I wanted to go Jags. I'll go with the Chiefs just to play the contrarian. Here's a high one, guys. Bengals are a 9.5 point underdog at home versus the Detroit Lions.
Lions are killing. Lions going to kill them.
I'm taking
the Lions.
I'm taking the Bengals. That line is too high, guys.
Well, you got to think, though. They don't have Joe Burrow.
I know they don't.
And Lions are the best road team. They were undefeated last year.
It's so hard, though, to beat somebody like that on the road. We just saw the Saints.
With Jake Browning?
Maybe. But, like...
Jake Browning is worse than Spencer Rattler, so...
Yeah, I know, but like that's man, you got to be about 10 on the road. Like that's so hard to do in the NFL.
They literally
these games week to week are like one possession. Like the Saints were one possession away from winning that game yesterday, and the Bengals may lose by 9.
Everybody thought the Browns defense was going to give Detroit hell, but
they did for a minute, yeah. But the special teams they returned a punt, right?
Yeah.
There's 7 right there. They only allow, like I said,
and they had 10.
It's a week-to-week league. I'm going to take the Bengals, guys. They're not going to win. I'm just saying they're not going to lose by 10.
Okay.
And then
Saints. If they lose by 30, I'm calling you.
Yeah, do it. That's fine. 30's a lot. I mean, unless you're the Panthers who blow out the Falcons,
but they can't win,
and then they get destroyed by New England.
I don't understand that.
Nope, you can't. Okay. Because that's what the NFL is.
Michael Penix is the problem then.
He might be because they scored this week, so they won because his team scored points. Gives them the +7 or more. And the Saints are back at home. against Jackson Dart and the Giants, and they are 1.5-point underdogs. Saints are going to win this game.
And we did see that both Taysom Hill and
Foster Moore
are practicing this week. So I don't know if they're playing, but
it's time to stack some wins, Mike.
I like the Saints.
It's time to stack some wins. Derek, do you like the Saints?
Over the Giants?
Yep, 1.5.
No. No. Jackson Dart.
Saints win.
Jackson Dart has been a
Spencer Rattler gets his first win, well-deserved in the NFL.
Who dat?
Get ready. You'll hear it next week. Again, that is our show. Week 5, I don't know why I have week 4 all over my paper. Week 5 area matchups. Get out there, support. Fair week. Have some games on Thursday. South Bow's at home against Port Barry. DeRitter goes to Jennings. Derek will be there. I'm in Leesville against Benton. Logansport travels to Kinder. That should be a ton of fun. Oakdale's at Marksville. East Bow's on the road in Lafayette. Maryville's at Northwood Lena. Pickering is at LaSalle. And Rose Pine at Lake Arthur. For Mike Holt, Derrick Lee, I'm Sean Larken. Thank you for listening to the Gridiron Gumbo Show. We will see you on Thursday night and then next Tuesday for Gridiron Gumbo next week. Have a good...
KVVP Leesville, DeRitter, Fort Polk, Today's Country 105.7.